Okay, so we've officially gone completely off the deep end on the Diddy case. Okay, like this new lawsuit, all right, it's actually not a new lawsuit. It's a newly amended lawsuit that now includes Odell Beckham Jr. and as well as Drewski, who is a gigantic comedian who is going viral for a million different things, have been brought into this case. And then now today, after yesterday, which I cannot stress this to you enough, this case was already the least credible, most insane story in the history of allegations of this kind. And I applaud anyone who is, your first instinct is to be like, oh, wait, you don't believe all women? I'm like, no, I don't. But I will applaud you if you just sit tight through this video, okay? And then if you still want to tell me in the comments that you believe this story, fine, okay? Listen, I can't throw rocks at people who have the instinct to believe all victims, because in a lot of cases, the victims of horrific crimes are not believed, and it's terrible. Okay, like I've watched a video, or I'm sorry, a series on Netflix about this girl who had told a story to this police officer. You guys may have seen this. I can't remember the name of it. And the story was insane about this this home invasion grape thing and whatever. And the police officer charged her for lying. And it turned out it was 100% true, okay? It was one of the most horrific stories ever. And so I just want to preface this with that like I am very sensitive. I have 3 daughters, very sensitive to the idea, first of all, to girls being victimized, but especially a girl who has been victimized being brave enough to go to the authorities and then people not believing her. And then especially in the most extreme example, being charged for lying when she actually was bound and violently, it's horrible, okay? I preface this because this entire video is going to be very dismissive and very, 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 very critical of this accuser. I think this accuser should go to prison, okay? Because she's lying. There is no question she's lying. We're going to know how she's lying, and she's bringing in more and more and more and more and more people. She made up this absurd story that we'll go through in a second. You guys have already heard about it if you paid close attention to this case. This is the one in Orinda, California, which, by the way, right next to my hometown and where I lived right up until I moved to Texas. I know this area very well, okay? I also know people who know people in that are like kind of like semi-connected to this girl's social circle, and I'll tell you some funny stories about that actually. And the fact that she told that ludicrous story initially, which again, I promise we're going to go into it, and it was somehow kind of like accepted by the media. Now her and her attorney are getting more and more bold, and they're all, oh wait, we just remembered the Maui police chief Pelletier was also there, and he facilitated this blah, blah, blah. And we've got Odell Beckham Jr. who was there. Oh, I forgot. I didn't know it was Odell Beckham Jr. because they were calling him Cornelius. And also Drewski did a slip and slide on my body. It's so absurd, okay? Now, a lot of people are covering the Drewski side of it because when he got brought into it, he's very, very famous. So it went viral yesterday. I did a video about it on Gabrielle and my other channel. This is that channel right here, Play with Matches with Gabi and Jesse. And here's this video that we did on it yesterday. Story is full of holes. Okay, this story makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And by the way, if you have not subscribed to that channel or you haven't gone and followed it, it's amazing. Me and my wife do it. You can see her in the thumbnails there sitting next to me. But apparently, YouTube's like, yeah, no one cares about this story for some reason. Like it's like if you look at the views compared to the other ones, like they're like, oh, no one wants to know about this story. It's like, really? All right, well, whatever. If more about it after this video, I would suggest you go check that video out, and as well as our channel in general. But in this video, we're gonna go through this additional new case that they're bringing in against Chief Pelletier. It's just absurd. Okay, like now. Let me just actually get into the story, all right? So let me tell you the story that went out before she brought in Odell Beckham Jr., all right? So this is a girl named Ashley Parnham, okay? She lives in Orinda, I'm not sure if she lives in Orinda, but she's partying in Orinda. This is her, I'm telling you, this is her story. I have heard her out of her own mouth and listened to an interview of hers, but I promise I'm more interesting than her, so I'm just going to condense it down. So she's out at a club in Lafayette or Orinda, and she meets some random guy, and he's hitting on her, and he tells her, hey, man, I'm friends with Diddy. She's like, you're not friends with Diddy. And he's like, oh, yes, I am, sweetheart. So he FaceTimes Diddy on the spot, okay? And Diddy picks up because, of course, like Diddy, billionaire, who we all know, very busy on the weekends, right? Generally speaking, probably throwing his own shit, but he picks up the phone for this rando dude who's a cancer patient, according to her, right? And I actually think that part might be true. I'm not 100% sure. Either way, it's a guy who has cancer, calls it from California, and Diddy's like, "What's up, man? Hey, what's up?" And the guy's like, "Hey, man, I just wanted you to talk to this girl I'm talking to." Guy hands FaceTime to her, and she goes, "I don't want to talk to Diddy because I think he killed Tupac." And Diddy goes, "What'd you say, bitch? Hold up. You said what?" And she's like, "I don't want to talk to you because you killed Tupac." So at that point, Diddy says, "I'm going to see you. We're going to see about what you just said." Keep in mind, the rumor that he killed Tupac is one of the most widely spread, widely known, rumors of all time, because the guy who did kill Tupac went on 100 podcasts saying that Diddy was the one who commissioned it and said he'd pay him $1 million. Okay, like this is not even moderately secret. Every single part of her story is just something that I could source to a story that is publicly known on the internet. There is not one exception to that rule. Okay, there's nothing new here. Every single detail that she brings to the table is so outlandish and unbelievable that it's ridiculous. FaceTime Diddy. Okay, we're already, and Diddy's so mad about this that, wait for it, he gets on a private jet with a big group of, a big grape crew, right? He's like, "Hey, you guys, we're about to go grape this girl." By the way, sometimes I get in the comments, "Why are you saying grape? Just say the word." It's because we get our videos demonetized and get deranked, which means not as many people will see it because YouTube wants to keep it ad friendly. Grape is something that you eat, okay? The other word is something very violent that ends up getting your video demonetized, okay? We're not doing it for some woke nonsense, okay? We don't want to get banged by the algorithm. So he gets this grape crew together. They're all, get the baby oil, get the lube, get the private jet, because this bitch had the audacity to say that Diddy, to his face, might have killed Tupac. So we're about to go to Orinda, California, which, by the way, whatever hometown you live in, okay, I promise it is more likely that Diddy would be in your hometown than Orinda, California for any reason whatsoever, okay? So whatever, a week later, she gets a call from the dude that she met in Lafayette or Orinda or whatever, and he's like, "Hey, can you give me help with my cancer treatment?" And she's like, "Your cancer treatment? Of course I can. I would love to come help you with your cancer treatment," because that makes perfect sense. You met him at a bar and you need help with your cancer treatment, so she's going to come to your house and help. Now, the rest of this is so ludicrous that I actually wanted to read this from the article so that you don't think I'm making this up, okay? She claims, so about a month later, a friend invited her, asking her for help with her cancer drugs. Mr. Combs unexpectedly turned up, she claims. Ms. Parham alleges that the rapper then approached her with a knife and held it to the right side of her face and threatened to give her a Glasgow smile in retaliation for her previous statements claiming that she thought that he might have killed Tupac. So that's the Joker. He sliced the mouth open, right? So that's what Diddy said that he was going to do, right? Mr. Combs then ripped off her clothes and violently raped her with the television remote controls. He took the remote. He's all, "Let's get her with everything. Bang, bang, bang. Grape." During the ordeal, Mr. Combs allegedly told her that her life was in his hands and that if he so desired, she would never be seen again. Ms. Parham alleges that she was then raped by multiple people until eventually she had no control over her body, nor could she move her body. Again, if I thought there was 1% chance this was true, I would not be reading it in the format that I am, but I don't, okay? Ms. Parham says she eventually tried to escape but was confronted by Mr. Combs, who offered her money to say the grape was consensual. What? So 1 second he is going to slice her open with a Glasgow smile, and then afterwards he's all, "Here, let me just give you some money so you can claim that it was consensual." Why would you assume she's going to tell anybody? Why does she need to tell anybody anything? I thought you threatened her. I thought we're using fear. Now we're using money. Okay. She ran to the neighbors for help, the lawsuit says. So what? He just let you go? He just let you go. Okay. As gunshots were fired in her direction. So he's shooting guns at her as she is running away. They had already called the police, having heard the disturbance next door, and she knew that how? Ms. Parham says she told the Contra Costa Sheriff's Department she had been gang raped by Mr. Combs and his associates, but no further action was taken. By the way, multiple law enforcement agencies have investigated this and have confirmed that Diddy was definitely 100% confirmed not in California when she said this happened, at all. There's not one bit of evidence that points in her direction it's like one of those things where, hey, we want to check your alibi to someone who's been, and they check it 25 different times. They're like, okay, this is ridiculous. He doesn't know you. You've never even been to Orinda. He definitely wasn't here then. Like, this is ludicrous. And your story makes no sense. Okay. She went to the hospital 3 weeks later, and staff called local police. However, Ms. Parham claims neither of her police reports led to an investigation. She is suing Mr. Combs and 6 other people for sexual assault and battery, false imprisonment, kidnapping, and demanding a trial by jury. Ms. Parham's case is the latest and more yada yada. Okay, hang on. Where is the rest of oh my God. So we do not have the rest of the story because it gets way crazier than that. Okay, I was actually just gonna read the lawsuit, but good God, this is so graphic and egregious that like I can't. I can't. Okay, but here I'm gonna read. This is the part. This is the part that's Drewski supposedly. Okay, so immediately upon defendant Diddy then instructed defendant Doe 1 to also grape plaintiff. Instead of immediately graping plaintiff, defendant Doe doused plaintiff with more baby oil, then jumped on top of plaintiff's naked body and oily, treating it like a slip and slide and knocking the wind out of her due to his enormous size. Then caught himself sliding over and he began to grape her, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so this all sounds horrific, again, until you are actually listening to the facts of, like, what she says happens afterwards. Okay, so so here we go. She was talking to Diddy afterwards, okay? Like just take for granted that the story of the assault is horrific, okay? It's not true, but horrific, okay? At least it's not true that Diddy and them. So here's like Diddy just acts like nothing happened. She says, that's when I got enraged. This is not a party. You graped me. And he attempted to bribe me with some money. And I said, no, you graped me. I'm not going to stay silent on this. Parham said Combs then called his mother on FaceTime, who yelled, don't hurt my son. I yelled back, he graped me. She said, take the money. So we're going from he's going to slit my throat if I say anything to now I'm super, super bold. And he's calling his mommy, mommy, help me. She's not going to take the money. Okay, so the neighbor came by to see what was going on. The bodyguard turned a gun on him and told him to go away. But then he came back and created a distraction for me to actually run. The neighbor, Parham said that's when they started firing the gun at her. A neighbor jumped behind a car, followed him to escape. By the way, no validation from the neighbor here at all. The neighbor can't verify this story. Police officer didn't offer to help me or help the ambulance or help me with an ambulance. I told him that Diddy had graped me. Parham also claimed that she reported it to Walnut Creek, Orinda, and California. Walnut Creek and Orinda, California. And I said they both verified that Diddy was not even anywhere near California these days. This chick is like actually crazy. Okay. But then she says that she returned and spent the night at the alleged grape scene. Okay. I know that doesn't make sense to people why I would go back there, but the Orinda Hills are incredibly dark and windy hills. The idea of running half naked down to police, the police were there. Why wouldn't you just get in the car and leave? Okay. So, dude, they're like leaving out the best part of this story. Jackpot. I found it in the lawsuit. Okay, here we go. Defendant Diddy did not like plaintiff's response to his lighthearted commentary, offered plaintiff money and instructed plaintiff that to say the grape was consensual. We went over all that, right? Okay, so defendant Doe then showed plaintiff his phone, which looked as if it was outside the estranged sister's residence. Okay, defendant Doe 1 then showed plaintiff his phone, which looked as if it was outside of plaintiff's estranged sister's residence, as she could see her sister sitting on the couch and her sister's spouse on the balcony. It looked as if someone was outside the residence streaming this video to defendant Doe 1's phone. So what she's saying is that they're all, hey, you didn't take the bribe and you wouldn't listen to Diddy's mom. Well, check this out, sweetheart. Bang. Okay. We got someone outside your estranged sister's home and we're going to kill her if you don't shut your face. Okay. So all of this because she's like, I think he killed Tupac. And then so he brings a whole team. They do one of the most insane violent assaults on her ever. Afterwards, they just kind of let her roam around. Then they're like, hey, man, just say it was consensual. And she's all, I'm not going to do it. I'm not staying quiet. He's all, here's some money. So I'm still not going to do it. She runs to the police. Runs to the next door neighbor. They shoot at her. Okay. Next door neighbor's ducking behind cars. The police come. They don't do anything. Right. And then so she comes back in and it's like, here, we're outside of your sister's house and we're going to kill her. So, oh, no, we gave you silver. This is what lead looks like. Right. We already said we'd cut your face off and kill you, but, whatever. So, All right. So then, hang on. Then we go to, this is where, okay. Defendant Diddy then made further threats that he had got away with bigger crimes and referred to Tupac again, further antagonizing the plaintiff. Defendant Doe 1 then turned to Diddy and pulled his gun on him, asking him to repeat what he said in reference to Tupac. Keep in mind, Defendant Doe 1 is one of the people who supposedly, and when you read like what she said Defendant Doe 1 did to her, flipped her over, top shelf, like graped her everywhere that she could, insanely painful, horrifying. This person is a psychopathic rapist, right? Like that's on Diddy's team that was all in on this supposed thing, right? And he said, pulls a gun on Diddy, says, "What did you say about Tupac?" As the two of them were exchanging words, Plaintiff 1 went behind Defendant Doe 1. Wait, so now where he seemingly began to protect the plaintiff. This is a person who literally just treated her like a blow-up doll that he wanted to hurt, okay? Defendant Doe 1 then advanced to Defendant Diddy, questioning him over the comments he made about Tupac. During this commotion, neighbor across the street comes over. Okay, hang on. Defendant Doe turned the gun on Diddy. Not far behind Defendant Doe 1, she tried to grab the gun from Defendant Doe 1 in his hand. The gun went off and hit the hill behind Diddy's behind the residence. Defendant Diddy then ran back up the stone stairs near the hill in the backyard where all of them were, all of the gang were. Plaintiff charged towards Defendant Diddy, moving the concealed knife from her left hand to her right hand in pursuit of Diddy. So now she's chasing after him with a knife. Okay. So she's like, yeah, they were going to kill my sister. And I was like, oh no, don't kill my sister. And so I then, as soon as they started fighting, pulled a knife out. Then I was going to kill Diddy for, who cares about my sister, whatever. So, plaintiff then pushed Defendant Diddy from behind while on the stone stairs outside, causing him to fall with his back to the plaintiff. Plaintiff raised the knife in a rage from the events that had just transpired and with the intent of driving the knife into Defendant Diddy's back. What? Oh, with his back to when he turned around, he began pleading for his life. Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. Plaintiff shocked to now see Defendant Diddy acting as a victim. She goes, oh my God. And that's when I remembered, I can't kill him. This is, I've heard her actually say this. Okay. So at this point, she says that she turned around on the stairs and Diddy kicked her from behind. Okay. I heard her say this. Gabrielle and I talked about it on my show. And she started to fall down the stairs, but then she caught her footing and she swung the knife behind her and sliced through Diddy's shirt, cutting his abdomen open. All right. So she's a girl who was walking down the stairs and kicked her from behind, and she didn't fall down the stairs like I would if she pushed me down the stairs. Okay. Diddy pushed her and she just swung around like a ninja and cut his thing and, whatever. So, she began, okay, so then after hearing the commotion, Jane Doe emerged and Defendant KK began administering first aid to Defendant Diddy for the injuries caused by plaintiff. Defendant Doe now caught up with, okay, anyway, so we could continue to go through this. This entire thing is absolutely fucking ludicrous, okay? Like, no matter how much of this I read, it gets less and less and less and less believable. And just to put the cherry on top, all right? Just to put the cherry on top of all of this, now, after months and months and months of filing the original lawsuit, she remembered this little detail, okay? That it was Odell Beckham Jr. So I didn't realize it before. It was a guy I didn't know. But now I remember it was Odell Beckham Jr. was the guy. I just didn't realize it. And so I've amended my lawsuit. And also the big guy was Drewski. And then today, Maui Police Chief Pelletier named as co-conspirator in Diddy case, Maui County, Maui County Mayor Richard Bison is asking the police commission to place Maui Police Department Chief John Pelletier on leave after the chief was named in a lawsuit alleging he posed as a sheriff to a woman who reported being raped by Sean Diddy Combs and took two people at gunpoint from Las Vegas to California where they witnessed the rape of the woman in 2018. This is all the same girl, okay? The allegations came to light on Friday when lawyers for Ashley Parham and two other plaintiffs, John and Jane Doe, amended the lawsuit that was originally filed. Pelletier was among several defendants named in the amended complaint, along with comedian Drewski, Miami Dolphins wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. On Monday, Bison sent a letter to the Maui Police Commission asking that he be placed on leave. While the allegations in the amended complaint remain unproven, they are serious in nature, involve claims of alleged criminal conduct. As with any such legal matter, you should be placed on. Hey, so who is this person? Maui County Mayor Richard Bison. Hey guys, I have to confess something, you guys. Okay, I was in Maui in 2018, and Miami County Mayor Richard Bison, he came to my hotel. He told me that he was there to turn down my bed. He was dressed like a maid. Okay. I could tell it was a man, but I just thought maybe he's trans or something. It was very clear that, this was not a real woman. And as soon as I turned around and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go take a shower. I'm going to have the door closed. Go ahead, turn down the bed. While I was in the shower and I was washing myself, I had shampoo in my eyes. And so it was really hard to see. Someone pounded on the glass door and I said, I'm sorry. Who's there? I was there by myself. So there's no reason for anybody to be in there, like knocking on the glass. Very, very concerning. And I'm like, I'm sorry, hang on for 1 second. Right as I started to wash the shampoo out of my hair and out of my eyes, I felt someone grab the back of my head. I had more hair then, and they slammed it against the front of the shower. It was like, into like the tile. And I blacked out. When I woke up, okay, I had that, the person who had been turning down the bed and 3 other people. One of them was dressed like Neo from the Matrix. The other one was dressed like a dinosaur. They were wearing like a dinosaur suit. I have no idea why they were wearing that. And one of them was getting ready to go inside of me. I mean, I could tell, like I was laid down. I was actually handcuffed to the bed and my feet were hog-tied, or tied to like the bedpost. So like, there's nothing I could do. I was trying to shake, whatever. I could tell I could probably beat them in a fight if I was untied, but I was like, handcuffed and tied. I looked, that's when I realized, oh my God, that's Richard Bison. I didn't recognize him that's why he dressed as a woman, so I wouldn't know it was him. And then the person in the Tyrannosaurus outfit took it off and bang, it was Diddy, dude. Okay? It was Diddy. And the one who was dressed as Neo, okay, he went into the bathroom. He's like, this is going to blow your goddamn mind, man. Get ready for the shock of your life. He went in there. I heard like, someone else, is using like the faucet, whatever. And I could feel someone like, kind of sounded like that. They were washing their face. And when they came back in, it was white makeup. It was Odell Beckham Jr. dressed as fucking Neo. Okay. Now, I don't really want to go into detail about what happened next because it's one of the most traumatic experiences I've ever had, but they took a television remote and they inserted it inside of me. It was an absolute nightmare. Now, I don't really remember much after that because I blacked it out, but I definitely called the police and the police came there. They took a look at my body. I had bruises everywhere. I was bleeding all over the place. And I said, I'm like, listen, guys, this was Richard Bison that did this to me. And they were like, I mean, but like, what do we have to believe, there? And what it turned out was they had left things there, used condoms as well as guns and stuff that had been, they've been shooting them in the air. Like, have you guys ever seen The Crow? And the guys like, crack, crack, crack. Like, they kept doing, I remember that because they were going like this while shooting, and I always thought that was super weird. But they didn't believe me. They took my report. They said that they, looked into it, but they didn't decide to prosecute anyone. So, I mean, listen, like, I've been waiting for justice all along. And as soon as I saw Miami County Mayor Richard Bison's name in this article, I was like, oh my God, that's the guy that came in pretending to be a girl, dressed as a maid, who then victimized me and then brought in Diddy and Odell Beckham Jr. And I just feel like it's important for me to put that out there right now. So maybe Miami County Mayor Richard Bison should go on leave while you guys investigate this claim because it's super believable, right? Right? I mean, like, because my story makes perfect sense, right? Just as believable as the fact that some random guy FaceTimed Diddy and some girl was like, I think he killed Tupac. Diddy stopped everything he's doing, goes to Orinda, California to do a coordinated gang rape with Drewski, who wasn't even famous in 2018, Odell Beckham Jr. randomly, some other people. They're shooting at each other. It's like there's no reports of this. The police have looked into it and like there's nothing there. And then the girl, sliced Diddy. His own co-conspirators start shooting at her all over the place. There's no reports of any of this stuff. And then, okay, give me a fucking break. So I don't know why Richard Bison is doing this unless he hasn't read the fucking case. But you should stop doing that because obviously I'm joking, guys. None of those things happen. Just like none of these things that Ashley Parham saying happen. That's probably enough. I love you guys. Bye-bye.